Hi guys. Now, how do I do this? Oh, here we go. Requests. Hey everybody. Can you hear me? I'm really bad at this. Oh, hey! I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. Hi. So nice to see you. Look, we're getting all our people together.
Um,
Can you see like the people, people coming in? Oh no, you can't.
yeah, no, I
Okay,
can.
cool.
Yeah,
I don't know
we're
how,
rolling.
I'm like really bad at this, so,
It's all good.
but it did
We're gonna
good.
we're gonna work it together. So
Cool, great. Hi, everybody out there. I'm so glad that all of you guys are joining us. You know, I never or hardly ever do lives, but I was really excited to do this for you guys as well as myself. And so let me introduce you to Emil Steenveld, who is a transformational speaker and I always forget,
intelligence, emotional
intelligence
intelligence
coach.
coach.
See?
Yeah, yeah.
An emotional intelligence coach, which I think is freaking pretty awesome because I know from my experience, um, it's really important to have coaches in our lives and therapists to help
Yeah.
us navigate through life. So, what are we going to be talking about today, Emil? Tell us.
So I think we've been having chats and breaking down like fears and underlying beliefs, and I think it's a good idea to just have a chat about like what is fear, why do we have it, why is it important to
Right.
have fear, and also answer some of the questions because I know you got some questions and I got some questions about fears and underlying beliefs
Yes.
and how it's been
Yes.
stopping us from going to the next level in our lives.
Yes, I know from my own experience that certain fears and, like you pointed out to me, underlying beliefs, which I didn't know what underlying beliefs really were, that
Hmm.
how that's stopping me from reaching my full potential. So maybe you can go ahead and first explain like what is fear and where does it come from? Like,
Yeah. So the dictionary says that fear starts in the part of the brain called the amygdala. So what that is, it's like the size of an almond in your brain, and basically what it does is it goes off the moment we feel a threat. So back in the
mm,
day when we were cavemen or cavewomen, there's a real threat that if I leave my cave, I could die. And
yeah, that's
or
crazy.
something could eat me or something, and we're still going on that fear. And what naturally happens is, even though we may not think it's going to kill us, we still act like it's going to kill us.
So what you're saying is that even in a situation of like even like say a relationship, I just bring that up. A
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
relationship,
yeah.
we can feel the flight, fight, freeze, or I
Appease.
remember appease. You taught me that one. I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that
yeah.
one. And then we can actually sabotage a relationship. But at the same time, sometimes there's relationships that we need to feel that. So it's like, how do
Yeah.
we differentiate fear that is protecting us versus fear that is maybe not received in the right way? Like,
So when you think about fear, right? You think about fear as something that's used to protect us, right? So fear is important. If we don't have fear, like we literally will have, like people always say, just have no fear. But it's like fear is an important indicator to go, is something life threatening to me right now,
right,
right?
right.
So you have to, like the same thing, emotional intelligence, you have to be aware of like yourself, your surroundings. You have to, like, EI, emotional intelligence, for anyone that doesn't know, is like street smart. It's like knowing where to look. Okay, there's a car coming, I should step back, like, versus like
That's like me
IQ.
growing up in
Yeah,
the hood. Like I
yeah.
had to like really get in touch with my emotional intelligence and the fear factor of like, is this a dangerous situation? Are these people dangerous or are they
Yes.
safe? Which definitely I could see carries on into adulthood.
Yes, perfect example. So, example,
Yeah.
like you grew up in the projects of Queens, and naturally, your amygdala was going off consistently because there was different threats.
I don't
So,
think it ever
because
stops going off.
yeah, so this is where someone that's grown up in Queens versus like someone like my girlfriend that's grown up in Singapore. right? I was
It's
saying to you
safe
the other day,
there.
like, yeah, it's so safe there. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even lock the door. But
Damn.
it's and then they don't need to, right? But it's where have you grown up, and it's like this is what's this actually started this, right? So how you grow up, how your parents perceive threats, how they feed things into your brain, that is all shaping you to what you're feeling threats to today,
Right.
right?
Is that also part of your underlying, does that become your underlying beliefs?
Yeah. So your underlying beliefs, anyone that doesn't know what an underlying belief is, it's something that is underneath. Like you got your beliefs, and then you've got underlying beliefs that are your subconscious. So what your subconscious is doing is it's running its story in the background. And what it's doing is it's trying to stop you from that thing that happened to you when you were a kid. Like maybe a girl or a guy broke up with you and like ghosted you, and you're like, oh my God, I never want to have that happen again. Now you mentioned relationships earlier, and you're like, "Oh my God, what happens if this person leaves me?" You know, and fear of abandonment is a real thing. So many of us feel so afraid that we're going to get abandoned or we're going to be alone, and that triggers a fear response in the body to be like, "Oh my God, this person's going to leave me." And what do? Which is interesting, is it's like we said, it's like a double mirror. It's like it's double-edged sword. So what we
Mm.
do is some of us will sabotage the relationship first and act in a way because we're so focused on this fear happening that we actually be that. We actually show up as that.
So we created it in a way.
Yeah. We are creating everything that's coming into our space.
Oh man,
I know.
that's tough. Um, wow. So, okay, what else can I ask you? Dang, there was a lot of things we talked about. So yeah, that is, what about people, when we talk about relationships, yeah, fear. So, but basically fear, like we talk about fear of losing money. A lot of people are worried about
Yeah.
like making money or not making money, failure versus succeeding. And the weird thing we talked about is some people are afraid to succeed, which I think that's strange, but I can
Yeah.
relate.
All right. So let's go into the first one. So fear of money, fear of being broke, right? We've all had stories of fear of going broke because what happens if we're broke? That takes away our freedom,
Right.
our freedom to choose, our freedom to do things. And you can see what's going on in the world right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of people are not able to travel. A lot of people can't work and do the thing that they need to do. So what kicks in? The fear that it's like, I'm not going to survive,
Right.
right? So broke and money is such a real thing. It's so connected to our emotions because
Yeah.
naturally when we work, we feel safe because, you know, we're going to be able to provide for our family. We're going to be able to eat. We're going to be able to have the lifestyle that we want to create.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But also, like I said, on the other side of that, the double-edged sword is that if I have a fear that I'm going to lose my job, or I have a fear that I'm going to stuff this up, that could take away, that could pull my job from underneath me. And then what's that going to trigger again? My fear of going broke. So
Yeah,
what we
which
have to
then
do,
reinforces that
it
belief.
is, it keeps on going around in circles. So what I'm going to do at the end, like at the end of this talk, I'm going to break down how we can get over these.
Yes, I was going to
Right?
ask you, can you give us
Yeah.
examples of how we can work through? Because I think, yeah, knowing about it, some of us know what our issues are, but we don't know how to overcome them.
And even let's give an example of you. Like you grew up in Queens, right?
Yeah.
And money. Like remember you used to tell me about how you were creating money and like how you were saving. Like what did you used to do?
I used to like every little, like, I mean, I'd collect bottles and save the pen, like the quarters and stuff. And I would, at like the age of 12, I was bagging groceries at the market. So like old people or whatever, people would pay me a little bit. So I did anything and like anything that I could as a kid to make some money and save money. And so
Yeah.
I've been working my entire life
And saving, you said.
saving. Yes.
Because you believed. What was
That
your belief?
my belief is that I don't like, I would lose the money. So I had to save it.
Yeah.
And you know
So
what's so funny?
yeah.
So actually, now that you said that, so I was so obsessed with saving and making as much money as I can any way I could. I mean, not any way, but as best as I could. But as I got older, I realized through my therapist, she would say, "It's so funny how you work so hard, you kill yourself to work, literally making yourself sick working to make
Mm,
money, um, not thinking about your health, saving your money, not buying anything nice for yourself, taking care of other people, but not taking care of
mm.
yourself, and you're losing money. So it doesn't make any sense. You're working so
Yeah,
hard to save money,
but
but you're actually
so
losing money as you're saving it.
yes, and because you, and this is the funny thing about this, right? You're saying I'm losing money, and deep down, because this is what you're doing, you're creating the situation, the perfect storm for you to lose it, because then that will prove your fear to be right. And
Well,
this is
how
the,
is that even like
I
it's
know,
so
I know
crazy.
it's hard to kind of grasp, but you think about like when we have a belief about something and we want it to be true, we will make sure that it happens. We will put ourselves in situations for that belief to happen and go, yep, see, true. Like if you have a story or like I'm hearing a lot lately, like women say like all boys are fuck boys or all boys are like,
They're
or
just not
assholes.
good guys.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so if you have that belief, what you're going to do, you're going to go out and you're going to look for that, right? Because your mind, your amygdala is going off to be like, yep, see, that's a threat. Boy, that guy hurt me once. He's going to do it again. And if he does it again, that's going to break me because that hurt so bad in the past, the pain.
So do you think that we're seeking out those things
Yeah,
to
if you're not,
prove to
if you're,
ourselves that our belief is true? So crazy.
yes.
It's kind of like the law of attraction in a way.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's in fact we don't want to have that happen, but whatever you focus on will grow. So if I'm focusing on being broke, guess what's going to happen? Oh, sorry. If I'm focusing on not being broke, don't be broke, don't be broke, don't be broke. You can't go broke. You can't go broke again. You know
Yeah.
what happened last time you were broke?
It's you're still
You,
creating fear
then
by
that
saying
fear
that.
comes into our space. That's our energy, and that energy gets put out into the universe. And then we're like, oh, we attract. We are energy beings. So if energy is
Yeah.
attracting, if you're acting like a three, guess what you're going to get? You're going to attract a three.
This is
Pure
crazy. This
example.
went from psychology to spiritual. Like
It's
it's
all
like psychology
connected.
to
It's all
spirituality.
connected. It's all connected because it is facts, but it's also energy can't lie.
Right. So people out there who want to get out of their, financial ruts or relationship ruts or, want to do better, these things are really important to figure
Yeah,
out for yourself.
yeah. You think about it. What's another thing? Another question we had was like, what if I don't have control? Or
Yes. Oh my God. Listen, someone had told me a lot of stuff about me, and I was like, I didn't realize that certain things that I do is because I need the control because I'm afraid.
yeah,
And I'm thinking like, well, I'm not afraid. Like, what do I have to be afraid about? But actually, it's so deeply embedded that I
yeah.
didn't even realize I was doing that until now. I'm like, oh wow, I don't want
So,
to do that anymore. I don't need
so,
control. I want to let go.
so what is? So it's like I don't need control, or I want to let go until that fear happens again. And you're like, I need to control, right? So it's like this is what we do as human beings. Everybody wants to be able to be free and not have anxiety. Like who likes having anxiety or being anxious? Nobody does,
Somebody.
right? But what the anxiety has started from is because of loss of control,
Hmm.
right? And so many of
Right.
us want control, but the more control you have, so what do? We set our life up and we go, okay, I only eat these kind of foods and I only hang out with this kind of people. And, those people that are anxious are like, before they even go out, one of the biggest fears and most common fears is social anxiety.
Oh wow. Well,
Like people,
I have a little bit of that. Yeah.
yeah, people go out and they're like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to act and how I'm going to be. They don't know how to, like, oh, some people have fear, like, I don't want to eat in front of these people. Like, all these stories, all these agreements, and we try and act like all composed and with our shit together. And
So, oh, basically, what you're saying is that people are living inauthentic lives. They're trying to fit in. They're so worried about fitting in that that's causing anxiety because
absolutely.
their underlying belief in that is they're not good enough.
Yeah, or I'm not going to be accepted
Right. Because
by
I'm
this.
not good enough. That would
Yeah,
be the
and
foundation
that's
of
the
the thought process.
yeah, the underlying belief is that I'm not enough. And when I don't accept
Mhm.
myself, guess what happens?
Nobody else
Everything
does.
everything starts triggering because I'm gonna
Yeah.
if I don't believe, like if I've been judging myself, if I've been talking shit to myself, then guess what's gonna happen? I'm literally going to be like, oh, it's literally like I put these rose-colored glasses on and I go out in the world and then I go and look for that proof because this is what I've been saying to myself the whole time.
Right. Right.
Now, the control that you're seeking is you're just trying to feel safe,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But when we try to control other people, or we try to control situations, that also drives people away, and then that fear kicks in of
And
like,
it's
oh my god, reoccur.
reinforcing again that belief. This is crazy. Like, it sounds like, why would people do this to themselves?
I know,
Like,
and
I just
and,
don't
and
get it.
And it is, and I saw someone ask like anxiety is really bad. Like, how do I cure it? And the thing is, anxiety is a perceived threat in the future that hasn't happened yet.
Yes, the making stories in your head, the
Yes,
overthinking about
yes,
things.
yeah.
Yes.
And we overthink because we have the fear that